This is a guide on how to fight Atziri on my Explosive Arrow Pathfinder build. This will probably be only helpful to new players, so if this is interesting to you, go ahead and keep watching. For this setup, I'll use a 5-link Explosive Arrow and a 5-link Belly of the Beast, instead of my endgame setup with 2 6-link Quill Reins and a Comb's Heart. You might notice that I'll randomly weapon swap out of habit, just ignore that. The character is obviously over leveled, but use this as a measuring stick in case you want to start farming Atziri on this build the next league. I took out slower projectiles on my single target and life leech on my GMP setup. As you can see, trash is mostly nothing to worry about. Just get a lot of chaos res on your gear. I have 59% chaos res for my setup, but you don't need that much to pretty much ignore all damage if you have Flasks up. The two valves are pretty straightforward. If a valve is ignited while you have Vingtars up next to it, it should die in the first volley from the ignite. The second valve can't be ignited after the first one dies, but with Flasks up, the damage shouldn't matter that much. They can't shock or chill you, and your GMP Frostwall setup should finish off the second valve no problem. After the fight, I swap out Vingtars for a Basalt Flask because the trio can't be shocked. The trio are also pretty easy. Your physical mitigation and chaos res is incredibly high on this build, and any flask will remove bleed. You can only ignite 2 of the trio. The last one can't be ignited. Kill the Rainmaker and the Dual Striker first with the ignite setup, then go to a wall or use the Frostwall GMP setup and just use the overlap of the explosions to kill the last one. Should be pretty easy from that point. One thing to watch out for on the trio is if you accidentally leave the Dual Striker for last. It's not the end of the world, but you have to be careful when exploding the walls while he's ignited. Atziri isn't a big problem herself either. I put on a Ruby Flask mostly because I don't have fire cap res if my flammability curse is reflected on me. I also put on a curse immune flask. If you have capped res even after the reflected curse, you can probably use a Topaz Flask or Vingtars for the split phase. Since normally she can't be ignited, Frostwall GMP is how you do damage to her in the regular phase. During the ad phase, just blast around, you should be able to kill them no problem. If you see too many ads getting close there, you can use a frost wall to stop them from getting there if you're worried. During her split phase, only her Spear and Stormcall version can be ignited. Well, also the mirror form, but you're going to avoid that for the reflect. The Flame Blaster form, the one with the firearm, can't be ignited as shown here. Still, your damage should be good enough. This is effectively a 4-link since the chance ignite does nothing. You can kill a split phase Atziri with the GMP Frostwall setup if you want. You should be able to down one of the split phases during your flask effect, and you can take most of the damage she dishes out. I'll show in this video examples of me taking her Flame Blast, her Spear, her Yellow Stormcall at the end of this run. I don't recommend you take the Yellow Stormcall in any case. This is relatively safe. Reaching 7k with Belly isn't a problem, and I think without Belly you'll be about 300 life less. This is obviously doable with 4 links, but there isn't much need for that. 5 links should be cheap, and in the coming league, the essence of horror will give the helmet a higher amount of damage than putting less duration even at level 20. If you really hate the GMP Frost Wall setup, here's how you fight her with Elemental Focus instead of Chance to Ignite, just for your reference. I don't really recommend it, but the Frost Wall setup is pretty easy to get used to. But it comes around the same amount of time. I think all the split phases just require 3 volleys instead of just waiting for the Ignite to do the damage while you run away. Anyway, I'll just leave you with the rest of this run. Hope it helps.